And we're back. I think I'm gonna switch it up and walk around this time. Yeah, so authenticity. Authenticity. If any of you are familiar with Myers-Briggs, authenticity is one of the biggest. My type is INFP. Introverted, intuitive, feeling, perceiving. If you're interested, search that up. But one of the biggest values is authenticity. And throughout my life, I've definitely fought against my authentic self for the sake of harmony with other people. And I can just explain, like, when talking with friends, if I have a true opinion, I tend to hold that back for fear that it will disrupt the harmony. And that actually happened with a couple of friends I talked to last night. And I was sort of just being my old self and not really saying what was on my mind. And when I tend to do that with people, it ends up them talking at me and me just sort of agreeing. And and then for that person, they're just like, man, this guy's cool, he gets everything I say. But for me, it makes me not want to talk to them, because whenever I do, I tend to hold myself back. So it leads to like sort of an isolation thing. So like with myself, I'm trying to, one of my best friends was just saying, like, don't fight the part of myself that harmonizes with other people, that can vibe with people, because not to toot my own horn, but I can get along with anybody. But sometimes that's toxic and I can lose myself in another person, and that's definitely has been a thing that's happened in a lot of my relationships in the past, like romantic or platonic. And the thing is, like, I shouldn't deny this ability to connect with people, but be more honest with my own opinions through that, and not just agree for the sake of agreeing. A couple years ago, I had a job as a salesman for this really shady company. I'm not gonna say their name because who knows, who freaking knows. But basically, I would walk around a certain department store, and I wasn't an employee of the department store. I walked around with a clipboard, and basically I was supposed to go around and, not to sugarcoat it, or I'm not even sugarcoating it, I had to go prey on people that were looking around like the kitchen area or cabinets or anything like that. And so what the company that I worked for did is cabinet refacing. So basically, cabinet refacing is, instead of replacing your kitchen cabinets, they reface them. So they strip all the outside, they leave like the skeleton, and then they just add different designs for the cabinets, different backsplash, which is like that part of the counter that's like the wall. Like if this is the counter, it's like the wall against the wall, the backsplash, and stuff like that. So like for the company I worked for, they basically had me walking around. There's some people walking, they just avoided. They basically had me walking around, and I'll just go through it with you. I'd see somebody looking at something, and I'd be like, hey, how's it going today? They'd be like, oh, it's fine, just looking for blah, blah, blah. I was like, are you looking to update your kitchen at all? And they'd be like, oh, yeah, actually, yeah. And then I'm like, have you guys heard of insert name here? They'd be like, you guys do whatever they said. No matter what they said, I had to agree and say yes. Because as like a marketing technique, you do that so that the person likes you more. Agreeing with someone is how you get them to like you more. So whatever they could say, like, you guys do the stuff with plumbing, right? Or you guys do and I'd be like, yeah, something like that. you know, and you can never be wrong doing that. So I would do that, and then I'd be like, well, if you are, have you heard of refacing your cabinets? And they'd be like, no. Well, basically, typically when you come to the department store, you see the cabinets and everything with the department store lighting. So you don't really get a feel for how it looks in your home. Well, with our company, we come to your home. We set up an appointment, we bring in a bunch of examples, we show you the backsplash, the cabinets, and you get to see it in your own home in its own lighting. And basically, if you do this, we can install it the next day and you can save 50 to 60%. And then it'd be like, oh wow, okay, yeah, just real quick, I can call my people, we can set up an appointment for you, and then you guys are good to go. So the thing about that is 50 to 60% of what? Like, there's a lot of keywords and stuff you just say and do, and people just are just like, oh, this sounds awesome, this sounds great. And then at the end, they're just like, man, this guy was awesome, this guy was amazing. I see a fox. I see a fox. The fox sees me. I think it's a kid. That's a kid fox. Oh, it's sitting down now. I'm sorry, y'all, I just saw a fox. Hold on. Can I turn the camera around? Oh, there it is. There he goes. Every time I look away, it goes away. Oh, I wish I could get you on camera, Foxy. But go back into the forest. Great spirit. Oh man, anyway. So there's a lot of foxes around here. So basically by the end of it, they're just like, this guy was awesome, blah blah blah. And you know, I was able to get like a lot of appointments going through, but it was just such an inauthentic job, but I was so good at it. And you know, my ability to vibe with people was used for evil. So basically, I guess it's just being more authentic and being more honest. And for me, getting better at that is like writing in my journal, you know, being more honest with myself like that, and like slowly but surely being more upfront with like my close friends about my true thoughts and everything. But yeah, being authentic is really hard when, you know, at the end of the day, you want to fit in, you want to belong. But the cool thing about being real is like, if you're real and there's people that don't vibe with it, then you don't have to deal with them and pretend to be around them, to pretend to be friends with them. So basically, just want to end and say, like, if you're true to yourself and you're honest with your opinions and you're honest with how you feel, even if it's controversial, like, just being more real about it is better than pretending, because at the end of the day, that pretending is going to come back to bite you somehow, some way. I hope you can still hear me because the wind is blowing, but be your authentic, true self. All right, I'm going to leave the park now. Peace. Well, actually, like, I don't know, there's just this couple that's walking around, and it kind of makes me uncomfortable. But I don't own this place. This is everybody's park. So I have to like get over that. But yeah, all right, peace.